Also, there was a lady that was brought to our attention. Her child got a brain damage by getting suffocating in a car, Kayla. So they were stuck. They didn't know what to do. They wanted to run a fundraiser, so a couple of friends referred her to me. So she's like, hey guys, can you help? So I'm like, okay, we can. We'll help you run the fundraiser for you. We helped her pull together the different people that would help her make it work, got her a venue to do it, gave her the kind of attention, helped her get the kind of attention she got. And luckily enough, she was able to raise, I think, about 25,000 US. And like 5 days after the event, the fundraiser, they were off to India. And at the time she was celebrating 3 years. And this September, she celebrated, I think, her 6th birthday. And she's, recovering well. So then when we did that Bunyonyi thing, then of course, I think it was 2018. I think it was the 2017 December event that caused us problems.
Because you had
Everyone
numbers.
was like, yo, what is this? But the good thing with the Bachiga Nation, the event, Rukunde Gumeo, just basically brings together Bachiga, their friends. Because we've married to people that are not Bachiga. We work with them. We are friends with them. So it's a good space to invite them to come and see our culture. And the advantage with that is it has also pushed other cultures to come up with similar associations. So you have the Batoro doing their thing. You have the Acholis and the Langis doing their thing. The Gisus, the Itesots, the Bafumbira, the West Nilas. So, and we've done it in a way that now we even introduced them, hosting them at the events. So we officially even put up polls before the event, and we're like, who do you want to be the guests of honor? So they can give us a dance, a cultural dance of theirs. So it has trickled down to even what they do. And I don't know if you've heard of the different other cultural festivals that have been going on.
Yes.
So it has just been a breed that just kept coming out of Bachiga Nation, which was a good positive that I could live.
Because you started out thinking about how can we uphold our culture.
Yes.
Even if we leave, how can we still have that connection?
Yes. Because it was dying out. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but us, we studied about rural-urban migration. We are literally practicing rural-urban migration.
Yeah.
So if we don't actually pay attention to our culture, it will die.
Yeah.
It will die. It's recently as giving a note at the World Tourism Conference, and they invited us to talk about cultural tourism. And I told them, guys, it's embarrassing to go to a traditional wedding and the other people are speaking English, or both parties are speaking English, or a father or a mother stands up to give a speech at her daughter's or son's wedding and they're speaking English. Why not speak your language? What we thought was cool is actually pushing us away from our identity.
Yeah.
But I like that we are becoming open and trying to appreciate it. Now people feel so proud about their cultures right now, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah, which is very good.
So in terms of Bigombe Auto
Engineering.
Auto engineering.
Yeah.
That's your motor shop.
Yeah, that's my dad's company that I work with.
It's your dad's?
Yes, it's called Bigombe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because it seemed like you started pushing it recently, but this has been there for
it had
a long
been
time?
there. Actually, surprisingly, some of my other friends used to call me Bigombe Motors because of the car I used to drive. It was always branded. So it's just that of recent during lockdown, so you know what? Let me give it some bit of push. And then it went
bit of
crazy.
branding.
Yeah, then it went crazy as well. So, that's why I said COVID has had its positives and its negatives. Like in the negatives, part of the projects we're doing in Bachiga Nation were supporting a school in Rukunje by building a classroom block. But now, literally, where we get our funds was the festival. We've not done the festivals. And, we had pledged that we'll do a classroom per year. So now, meaning the kids, if they graduate this year, next year, there's no roof on the block we had put up to the beam.
Yeah.
So it's been quite challenging, you know. The other one was good because the other kids that we support, about 500 of them, but it was good because it was, they didn't go to school, so there was no need to really push, so we were fine. But because all these kids go to that school, then others are different kids that we support in other schools. Yes.
Okay.
So it was kind of okayish, but not okayish. Yeah.
Some things that you're passionate about that you're really trying to get done. Or...
Yeah. So the workshop was a good, I think pushing it now during the lockdown was a good space. And then everyone, while getting out of the lockdown, decided to call. Everyone's car's battery was down. Owen, my car is not starting. Owen, this is happening. Owen, this is... I was like, was it a mistake for me to talk about the workshop now? We would even tell guys, how are we going to come to the workshop? How are you going to drive? Like, don't mind how we'll reach. We'll come. Just tell us you're open. Okay, we are open. And I don't know how they would go through the roadblocks, but they would come.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been slow, but it's growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got engaged?
Yes. Recently, someone decided to take me up.
She decided.
When I
you
said,
don't know what was happening,
Can you take this burden? She's like, yes. I was like, okay, let's go.
And you had, man, thing about social media, you had some very glamorous pictures.
Let me tell you something interesting.
That have even ended up on like wedding sites and things.
I told Biaru. Well, for those that don't know who Biaru is, he's my big brother.
Tell us about the lady. First tell us about the lady.
Yeah. So I told Biaru that day before, like 2 days before, I'm like, I'm proposing this weekend, but I'm just letting you know that I might like talk about it later on, like maybe at the end of the month.
Okay.
Because this was at the beginning of the month. So he's like, okay, that's fine. Now, when the news started breaking out everywhere, because I didn't even post anything.
But that was a serious setup. Also, what do you mean?
I didn't post anything. I called, now, you know, there was drama. I tried to get a ring, and I was cheated. Like the person I thought would get me the ring disappeared with the money. And then it entered lockdown. I didn't know where to get the guy from. And he doesn't live here. So that was money gone. Micah money. So now I was like, what am I going to do? So of course, guys, someone will tell you can actually get it somewhere. They try locally, you can get something nice. So I try and, you know, box around. There was no money, but, you know, I boxed around. So the other thing that I appreciate with life is the value of friends and friendships. Because you do not know when you might need them. So, you know, I'm like, okay, I have no money, but me waiting on this proposal doesn't make sense. So I think I got the last money to finish up the last installment on the ring like on Thursday. So I called Rajiv. I'm like, can I use Speak for my proposal? And how much will it cost? He's like, no! Oh, and you're my brother. Use! Go, meet so-and-so, he will sort you up. I called another friend of mine. She's into deco. I'm like, I'd like to do, can you do for me a small setup? The first one gave me a charge of like 1.5 million. I was like, I don't have that money now. I'm like, I'll get back to you. Let's be easy. So this other person tells me, I think I can at a very good rate. And when do you want to do it? I'm like, this weekend. She's like, perfect. I'm having a wedding in Bunga. So I can, that's easy. That's one direction. I'm like, how convenient. Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah. So she sets up for me. It was really simple.
So it's just people helping as well.
Yeah. I called my friend who were with during that I used to work with while making my weddings in high school. I'm like, boss, you have a free camera, if I come and take pictures. tujja kwebala. He's like, my guy, just tell me what time. Just pick me up. I'm like, oh, even if you're in Ginger, I'll pick you. So I go with him. She thought she was coming to her friend's birthday brunch, and then she just walks into the trap, and yeah.
So would you say you're a romantic guy?
Isn't everyone romantic? How do they get to have relationships? I
There's
think
some people who would declare me I'm not romantic.
I think
And people always say about Bachiga that they just tell you as it is. You know
Yeah.
this what they say.
yeah, if you love, if this is what you want, you say it as it is. Yes.
Again, tell us about your lady.
Do I have to tell the name as well?
It's up to you.
Anyway, it's already out there.
You
People
know.
are tagging me like crazy. So she's called Linda. So I and Linda had known of each other for quite some time. But on social media, like you know how social media is, for quite some time actually. Maybe going back to maybe 2015. Yeah, so interestingly, about last year, we meet as coming from a fundraiser. One of the Bachiga Nation supports a youth soccer team, so we're coming from the fundraiser. So the people we're with decide, let's go for this. Let's go to the club. I was tired. I was like, but Nang, you're one of the sponsors. If the people have said we go, you go. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Okay.
So I'm walking out, and then I bump into her at the entrance. First of all, I was not supposed to go to that club. Then I ended up going. So I was there like for 30 minutes. I was tired. I tried to tell them, let me come back. So I walked. There's so much tea also that you can take really. So I was like, you guys, I need to leave. So I disappeared. So one of the ladies I was with was supposed to give me a ride. So she's walking behind me. So I like, let me wait. So I walk out. So this hot babe walks up to me. She's also leaving. She's like, you, what are you doing here? Let's go home. Now at this point, the face is familiar, but I don't know the name. And I can't place the face. Now I'm feeling awkward because this is the moment of someone knows you and you don't know them. And now you're like, someone is now going to say, I met Owen, then he was showing off. He pretended like he didn't know me. So I was in that space. So I'm like, okay, let's go.
Are you serious?
For real. I'm like, okay, let's go. So we walk out and she enters her car and drives away, leaves me at the entrance. I was like, oh wow. So the people I was with that were giving me a ride come like, hey, we thought you were, they've left you. I was like, man. Anyway, but I didn't know her. So I was like, anyways, it must have been. So now it kept, I stayed with the guilt conscious of, this is someone that actually knows me, and maybe because of my reaction, she like, you know, so maybe she wanted like maybe to give me a ride, or you know, something, because I felt, maybe she looked at me and I felt like I was stranded or something. So that was like over Friday. So there was goat races that weekend. So on, I think Tuesday, she posts some pictures on Facebook. So I see, so I'm in office, so I see on the feed, it was in the evening. So I'm like, isn't this the babe from Friday? So I decided to make a comment as if I remember her.
You didn't know. Is she aware of all of this? Okay.
I pretend like I remember. So I'm like, your behavior from Friday needs to be checked. She had no clue. So she's like, now she sends me a message on Facebook. I'm not on Messenger. I blocked it long time ago because I was getting a million messages. So I blocked. I've not been on Messenger like for like what, 4 years.
Okay.
So I think she expects me to see the message, but so of course after Facebook, I go into onto Instagram. I get to Instagram, she has posted the same picture again. So there, I just send her a message on Instagram. So I'm like, Madam, your behavior, I'm afraid. Trying to like create a conversation to find out exactly. Does she remember that she can say, oh, but I thought maybe you were busy or something. I can be like, okay, maybe she didn't think I was, you know. So she's like, what behavior? This is my number, call me now. So I'm like, And then she says me, kindly delete the comment on Facebook, please. So I go and delete it. So I also send her my numbers. I'm like, no, you call me. So, but then when I went to the message on, send a message on Instagram, I found that I had commented on one of her stories.
Oh.
And it was about some leadership, comment about some leadership conference that was happening. Then I asked her what it was and where it was happening. So she responded, and it was about World Ventures.
Previously on Crystal One-on-One.
Yeah,
Is this
so
the bit where you said that your friends say you're kind of
yeah,
white?
my friends say I act like a Muzungu, but I think, I don't know, I don't act like a Muzungu. I think that's the reality of life. Sometimes you just need to go away to come back.
You talked about coming back.
Yeah.
You sunk all your savings into agriculture.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then you're like, I have to get a job.
Yeah.
Did you do what you went to school to do? Did you get a job in that field?
No.
And it was about some leadership, comment about some leadership conference that was happening. Then I asked her what it was and where it was happening. So she responded, and it was about World Ventures. No offense to World Ventures, but I think I was done with meeting people about World Ventures. So the moment she sent me and I realized it was World Ventures, I didn't even respond to the message.
Yes,
I just
you were done.
These ones, it's going to make noise for me. I was done with World Venture Products. So, so fast forward, of course we talked, we chatted. She was very adamant to meet me. I offered her, I was like, oh, can we meet for maybe a lunch? What? She was adamant to meet me. Even I was on my own. So, this one time, so she says, she was hungry and wanted to have a decent meal. She was like,
Who can I call?
I have a offer. So she texts me, she's like, hey, how are you? Are you available this evening? I think I'm available for a meet. I was like, okay. I didn't know why she had asked to meet up. Kumbe, the baby was hungry.
She wanted a nice meal.
She wanted a nice meal. So I'm like, okay, where? So my office is at the Cube. So, but now it's closed because of COVID. So it has not been useful to have an office. So we go. I was about 30 minutes late because I was on a call. So I'm like, no, let me know when you reach. I'm like, I'm coming. So I'm walking down. I bump into my cousin. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to meet a certain girl. He's like, hey, let me go and see this girl. He's like, okay, just come say hi and go. So I met her. Nice looking girl. I'm like, okay. So they bring her food. And this is what will shock you. She asked us to pray for the food.
Okay.
Yeah. The same facial expression you made is what came to me. I was like, okay, let's pray. She prayed for the food. So in my head the whole time, I was like, a hot babe in a public restaurant and is asking to pray for food. This must be a good girl. But in my head I was like, oh, she's researched and got to know that I love God. Now she's trying to impress me.
Oh my God, you were so suspicious.
I was like, but I'll give her a few more dates, then I'll know. So we met at about 4, and we spoke. We hung out till about 8. Then we even went back to my office. Then reached and she knew some of the guys that were in office. And then she was waiting for someone to pick her up. Her date. At that time, she picked her up, so I was like, all right. So, of course, now we started, talking, Then, we grew fond of each other. Then I kept making small hints of my intentions, but she would clearly and categorically tell me I'm nowhere in any of our options.
No.
She would tell me, no. If you want us to be friends, anything more, don't even think about it. I'm like, but what have I said? Have I said anything? Up to now, if you asked her, she'll tell you, I never vibed her. I never lavished her with mania what, gave her what. And I think how I got to know that that she was the one, in my previous engagements, I had, my priorities were very simple. A God-fearing girl, beautiful, beautiful, then, but it had become a trick to get a God-fearing person. So I had kind of taken it into, some bit of, I'd become content and being like, anyway, it will come, they will come around. Since I go to church, they will come around. So, and it was a thing that bothered me a lot, that I had to compromise on that.
It was important
So,
to you.
I was like, but I wanted someone that was, God-fearing, godly, like serious about God. But everyone I would get, I could explain, They ask you also, the person you're with, they're like, she goes to church, by the way. Which church? Church. Like, so she will go to this church. You would really try and explain the person. So this was okay. She literally ticked off like 7 off my list. So I was like, let me try and get to know her more, And then we kept interacting. Then I was trying to make something work at the time as well, but I was tired of dragging it. So I'd given myself a timeline for my birthday,
Okay.
and which is 28th December. So I was like, well, after we met, we kept now becoming closer and closer. Then I told her, there's something I want to discuss with you,
Okay.
but I can only be confident enough to discuss it with you after my birthday. So she kept wondering, what do you mean? But I just said after my birthday. She didn't know when my birthday was, but I kept telling her after my birthday.
Okay.
So this one time, actually the eve of my birthday, we happened to be together somehow. Coincidentally, we happened to be here. So we're hanging out then. I'm like, oh, by the way, tomorrow is my birthday. So she's like, you like ways having with things that come up. So now all of a sudden tomorrow is your birthday. I'm like, but it's my birthday.
Okay.
She couldn't believe it, but they're like, okay. So it was actually my birthday. Now, she gives me a call at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'd even just woken up. And she's like, hey, happy birthday. Blah, blah. She's like, what are you doing later? Can I take you out for brunch? I'm like, first it was odd. I'm like, take me out for brunch? Okay. I'm like, okay. No problem. Where? What time? She tells me the venue. I'm like, fine. Now, to cut that story short, everything she did on that day was supposed to be done by someone.
Okay.
And that person didn't do anything. And that was like my last card of, everything. Yes, after everything, yes, okay, I've understood. It's difficult. But maybe, let's wait for my birthday and we'll see. Let's not lose hope. Let's wait for my birthday, Then after my birthday, then we can know, you know. So when that did happen, and then she did everything, I was like, okay, that was my cue.
It was clear to you.
It was clear to me. I was like, okay, I need to find a way of moving forward. This is clear enough that, you know what, this will never happen. I'm pushing it so much, and it will not happen. It happens. You move on. Better is it safe than sorry, or you know. So I'm
And also
like,
sometimes you need that in life. You need things for it to be clear.
yes. So that was it. So I have this one cousin of mine that is, she's like my other ear. We don't talk all the time, but she's one person I know that if there's something wrong, it will be wrong. If she senses something wrong, it's actually wrong.
Yeah.
And somehow she had never been in line with any of the decisions I had made in regards
Before.
into that area before. Never. And surprisingly, every birthday I'm with her somehow. So of course this birthday she calls me as just like, Owen, we need to meet up. I'm like, I'm going for brunch, but we can meet up after. Like, fine. So I meet her with Linda. And it's like two best friends that had not seen each other for a while meeting. Now I was the birthday guy, but there was no more attention to me. There were other guys, even me, I'm here. If it wasn't for being at Zone 7, I think I would have been bored. So I just chatted them, I went and chatted with the guys. I was like, man, Gaetano, what's up? Those guys, they are those, may us be here also, you know. So that was also another sign that showed me. But
Yes.
we were not.
But you connected with
that we
your
connected.
person also.
Yes. But we had not like done anything official, and neither did she think that anything would happen. Even if you ask her, she'll tell you, I didn't think that anything would ever happen.
So she was just being a good friend at that point.
Though she said she didn't know how she actually came up to coming up with taking me for brunch, because she had no money. She only had like 100 on her, and she only realized it after offering. She's like, what have I done? Yeah, so fast forward, we move on, we get close. Then her friend had lost a dad, so I'd accompanied her for the service. Then I went with her, so I stayed with her longer. So when we were leaving, we were driving from that side of Gayaza. So I just stopped in the middle of nowhere and asked her to be my girlfriend. And she's like, Owen, you realize we are in the middle of the forest? And I'm like, yes. So that if you do say no, I leave you. If you say yes, we continue the journey. Yeah. So choose your words wisely. So she's like, okay, can we just drive to where there's some bit of light? Like
I'll
where there are like
answer.
people, shops, you know? Maybe I may need water. I'm like, okay. So I was driving, then she's like, yes. I'm like, even if you had said it other.
Nah, that's
So
sweet.
yeah, then that's when we started dating. Then it's been a good journey. The lockdown kind of made it more clearer because of the things. She knew where I was standing. First of all, the challenges that were going on in my life, especially starting with almost the end of last year. And then surprisingly she's the one person that I was so open to without reason, that even when we were just talking, before we started dating, I literally told her every challenge that it is that I was going through, whether money, whether a debt here or a debt there. I found myself telling her all these things,
Everything.
which before, for those that know me, they are being the biggest advocate of this, my communication is bad. Like, it's really bad. So that I found quite weird, that I was able to open up myself to to someone, something I never thought I would ever do. Or so, and she didn't judge me. She kept around. She kept telling me things will be fine. Things will be fine. So, and things are getting fine slowly by slowly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's been the small journey. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's the start of a journey.
Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah, it's a good start.
Well, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We'll wait for more
the
pictures.
wishes.
Would you do anything differently, like from what you know now?
No. Actually, like I earlier told you that I don't know if it was already on set or not, but I appreciate that the mistakes that I did, I was able to do them when I did than do them later, because I think it would have cost me more if I had done them much later.
Okay.
I think it would have been a bigger burden for me than it is now. But now I've learned, I know what to do better, so I think the future is bright.
It's brighter.
COVID should end.
It's blinding, in fact. Let's just put it out there. The future is blinding.
I can't see. It's too much.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you very much
Pleasure
for
sitting
having
down
me.
with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.